Well, g'day everybody. Well, yes, my name's Wally, and this is David Poulton's workshop. You know, the Australian puppeteer. Well, he's going to do today a little workshop for you, all about mask making. Yeah, good say you had a hand in my making too, actually. Wonderful stuff, these masks. Anyway, here he is, the famous puppeteer, Mr. David Poulton.
Thank you. Thanks for that introduction. Well, g'day. Today I'm going to show you some really simple ideas on making masks and simple puppets. Now, I make a lot of my masks from just paper, one sheet of paper. In fact, this elephant mask here is made from one single sheet of paper. I'll show you how we do it. First of all, let me tell you what you're going to need. The first thing you need is a pair of scissors to cut the paper with. Now, these scissors are safety scissors. That means they have a round edge. By using small scissors, you can do nice tight cuts. You need some sticky tape, and if you can use the invisible kind, that's great. Or you could use glue. And of course you need paper. Now let me begin by showing you the elephant. First of all, we take our piece of paper and we fold it in half. We put one crease into the paper, and this edge becomes our main cutting edge. Now the elephant, they have great big long trunks, so to start with we'll cut the trunk. We come down the bottom and we cut a slightly rounded shape at the end, and as we cut upwards I keep all of my lines rounded. That way I get a more interesting shape to it. So there we are, that can be the trunk. Now we cut the tusk, and that goes behind the trunk, and that can actually be quite big. Then we cut the head. The head is also a rounded shape. So starting at the front towards the back. Now we cut the ears, and the ears can be big or small, long or short. Just really depends what sort of elephant you want to make. If you were going to make an African elephant, you can make great big ears. If you're going to make an Indian elephant, you can make little ears. If you're going to make an Afro-Indian elephant, you can make medium-sized ears. So there we are, that's the profile cut. By the way, a profile is a side view, so that's my profile. Now we cut the eyes, and to do the eyes, we fold it in half again, down the middle, and we cut really a quarter shape, the shape of a new moon or a horseshoe. Then we open it up, and we cut the eyelashes. We can make those quite long. That gives it a lot more personality. Now that's all the cutting we need to do. So we open it up, and you can see you've got the shape of your elephant looking quite good. Now we start to give it a little bit of style. So the first thing we do is we flick out the eyelashes. Do that with your fingers if you like. Give them a little bit of a flick up, and they look quite good. Now we want to do the tusks. Now the way we do the tusks is we curl them with the scissors. So put your scissors on the top of the tusk, your finger underneath, and give it a little bit of a scrape. And that will curl the tusk up and make it look interesting. Now, elephants have very baggy skin, so to make our elephant nice and baggy, we put a few concertina folds into the trunk. And these folds don't have to be straight. All you need to do is just give them a few folds, give it a squeeze, pull it down, and you'll see what I mean. It looks really quite good. At the moment, this mask is quite flat, so to make it look a little bit more interesting, we put one extra fold in the forehead. Perhaps I could do that again, like that. And then we pop that fold inside the head. And we can either glue that or sticky tape it. And that rounds the head. Then we bend the ears forward, and we've made a three-dimensional mask from a flat piece of paper. That wasn't hard to do, was it? Now, perhaps I can make one more like this. Another simple animal to do would be a cow. Now we make the cow very much the same way. Take our paper, fold it in half, and we put a crease into it. Then we take a pair of scissors and we start by cutting the nostrils. We make those quite big. And then we cut the jaw, and the jaw goes up to the top. And now we cut the horn. Now the horn we begin at near the head, and we go out to the corner of the paper, like so. Now we come in again from the corner, back towards the head. So that can be the horn. Now we cut the ears, And last of all, the hair. We make that nice and long. So there we are. That's the profile of the cow. Now we cut the eyes, and to do the eyes we put an extra fold into it, and we cut the same way as we did the elephant, a horseshoe effect. We open it up, we cut the eyelashes, make those nice and long, and one little extra cut on the cow is the nostril. So fold it again and cut the shape of the nostril out. Now that's all the cutting we need to do. We open it up and you can see we've got the shape looking quite good. Now we flick out the eyes, do that with our fingers, same on each side, like so. We curl the horns with the scissors, so the tighter you do it, the more they'll curl. We give the ears a little bit of a bend inwards to make them stand out. And last of all, we curl the hair. And there we are. There's the cow. Now, like this, you can make lots of long-snouted animals. Horses, donkeys, goats, cows, sheep. Great. Perhaps I could tell you one little trick I used there. I don't know if anyone noticed, but what I did, as I cut, I kept my scissors more or less upwards, and I moved the mask around as I cut it. Then that way it was a lot easier to do. It's a lot easier to keep your scissors in the same place and move the mask than move your hand right around. That's one little secret I used. Well, now we're up to face masks. Now, face masks we make just like those animal masks. One piece of paper, fold it in half, put the crease into it, and that's going to be our working edge. The most prominent feature of our face is our nose, so that's what we begin with. We cut the nose. On our piece of paper, it's just under halfway, so we cut the nose. You can give a big or small nose, just depending on what character you want to make. I'll make a medium nose. Then we cut the mouth. Now the mouth we want to cut completely out. So we can also make the mouth smiling, happy, sad, just by the position of our cut. Now we cut off the chin and the top lip, like so. Now we cut the eyes. We do the eyes just like the elephant and the cow. We put a fold, but instead of doing eyelashes, this time I'm going to cut the eye right out. And I can also do an eyebrow just above. You can see the position that I've cut that in. I open it up, and now I open the mask completely, and you'll see there's a big gap between the chin and the top lip. Now I've got that on purpose. The reason is I'm now going to join it up and shorten that distance. The reason I do that is it in fact makes the nose stand out. It gives our mask a little relief. So here we are. You can see now that the nose is now standing out. To make this into a Greek mask, it's very easy. We can fold under, and this is probably a very traditional mask that is worn by people in theatre. Now, there's only one little problem here. It's very hard to get your chin inside there. So the solution is to cut off the back, like so. So just by cutting the back of the mask off and leaving the chin, we could fit our head quite easily into that. Now obviously this piece of paper is a little small for my face, but you can scale these up or down depending on what size mask you want to make. Now just to give this mask a little character, if I do a few cuts at the back, like so, and then I cut away for the head, and perhaps at the top I could do a plume, you'll see I can make quite a nice stylized mask. So let me show you that back cut, the back profile. Done some plumes, and when I open it up and I curl the sides, it starts to give it quite a bit of character. Do the same on this side, and we can even curl the plume, like so. Now this would be very good for doing some drama with. And there we are, that's the classic Greek mask. The next one I'm going to make is a clown. Now the clown mask, or for that matter any human style face, we start with the same basic pattern. We start with the nose, the mouth, chin and the top lip, like so. Now we cut the eye, and once again I might cut this eye completely out. I'll give it an eyebrow as well. So really at this stage we're very similar to that Greek mask. Now this is the difference. To make this into a fuller mask, we do what we call a cheek cut through there. Now we open this and we join once again the chin and the top lip, and that has shortened the paper to make the nose stand out. Now to create the cheeks, it's so easy. You bring the top to the bottom and you join that, and you'll see that our flat piece of paper is beginning to get a lot of shape in it. Let's just stick that. Now at this point we can really make this mask into any sort of character. I've chosen a clown today because the clown has got some interesting features. We can put a hair and a hat on it. So let me start at the bottom, and I'm cutting now the back of the mask away to give it the character we're looking for. So I've done the jaw, now we'll do some ears, like so, and now I cut some hair, like that. You see, we have the jaw, the ears, and now I cut the hair, and that's probably enough. So that's all the cutting we need to do. Now we open it up, we bend the ears forward on each side, we curl the hair, quick haircut, wasn't it? And then we bring the hat around, join that up, and you can see we've got a truly three-dimensional mask. One of my favourite animals is the next mask I'm going to make. In fact, whenever we think of Australia, I guess we always think of koalas. So I'd now like to make a koala. That's why I've changed to some grey paper. But we make our koala the same way, once again the fold, then we do the standard cut. Now a koala's nose is actually quite a flat nose. So if we do a flat nose like that, then we do a mouth, and their mouths are medium sized, they're not great big mouths. Then we cut off the chin and the top lip, like so. Now we cut the eyes, and the eyes, they have very big eyelids. So we cut a big eyelid, like so, and then we fringe the eyelid. So we do a few little fringe cuts just around the edge of the eye. And like the clown, we do one cut from the back to the front. So by opening it up, you'll see we have our shape where we now join the chin and the top lip and the cheeks. So we bring the top to the bottom and the top to the bottom on this side. So here we have the basic shape ready. Now, the big distinguishing characteristics of a koala are its big ears. So let's round the chin, because they have quite a roundish chin, and we're going to give him quite big ears. So there we are, there's a pair of koala ears and a rounded forehead. So that's the side profile of our koala. Now we fringe the ears, and if you leave it folded in half, you can cut both ears at the same time. So we go right around the ears like this, all the way around. Right, now we open it up. Here we go. Goodness. And you're going to see in front of your eyes this little koala come to life. Flick out the old eyelashes. Bend the ears forward. And give the ears just a little bit of a ruffle on each side. And there he is, one of the cutest little animals around, koalas. Well, now I'm actually just finishing off these masks, putting a little bit of paint on them, using watercolour paint here, just really doing the features. If you didn't want to use paint, you could in fact use crayons, or you could use textures or felt pens. Get just as good a job. Now once you've actually made the mask, painted it, you want to use it. So if you're going to wear it, you need to attach it to yourself. So the best thing I use is a hat elastic. Take a piece of elastic and you measure it so it will go around the back of your head. Then we tie some knots in each end, like so. One at that end, one at this end. It's very important that then they don't slip off. Then we can either use some sticky tape or a staple, and we join it on the inside. In fact, the koala is already done. We used a staple on that side and some sticky tape on that side. In fact, the koala's come up quite nicely. See, I've really only picked the features, the nose, the mouth and so on. Now once you've made one, you want to protect it because you've done a good job. So probably the best way to protect it is by using some hairspray. So ask your teacher or your mum if she wouldn't mind spraying it for you. Then that way you'll protect it, you'll make it a lot stronger, and if you spray both sides, that's back and front, it will last quite a long time. Now these masks are great for making a mask about the size of your head, but if you want to go any bigger, you need to use a different material. And I found that foam rubber is actually really quite good. This mask is made of foam rubber, it's been painted, see, it's just ordinary foam rubber, and you could make a mask twice the size of this and it would be strong enough. Another little adaptation for these masks is to make them into a puppet. So what we can do is you can actually make yourself a very simple finger puppet. This puffin has been made exactly like the profile mask, except we've added a body and a wing to it. This particular one I've made into a little finger puppet by putting a piece of elastic on the inside. I pop my fingers down there and I can make it walk along very easily. Something else you could do, you could add one more and then you could make a display. You could make some mobiles. Do a lot of things with paper. Finger puppets can actually be a lot of fun, and I've got some here to show you that I'm sure you might like to make. These particular finger puppets that I'm going to show you now are made from a glove. These little birds are made of an old gardening glove. In fact, if I pull this down, you'll see it. That's the glove there. And in fact, what's happened is that I've used an old baby rug for the feathers, a bead for the eyes, and some material for the beak. And I've painted it on the inside. The nest is made of a tube of foam rubber, and I've sewn onto that raffia, which is long, dry grass. You could maybe use a pot from an old pot plant, or you might like to use an old boot. You cut the bottom off, maybe bring up some little mice. They would look quite good. Have you ever had the wooden spoon? They get it a lot in Hungary to make puppets out of. Here is a wooden spoon, and I'm going to make now a Hungarian wooden spoon puppet. First of all, I want to paint or draw a little face. I'll use a few crayons here. Let's have a look. Oh yes, oh yes. How's that? Right, well there's the face onto a wooden spoon. What we've got to do now is make a little wig, some hair. So what I've done here is I've got this ready. I've got some wool. Now all I did, I wound out some wool, I tied a piece of wool in the middle, I cut off the two ends, and hey presto, we've made ourselves a little puppet wig. Just to save time, I've glued this one already on this face. So you can see there's the wig on the face. Now let's lie that down here. Now doilies are used often to put cakes on when you're having a nice afternoon tea, but they also make wonderful dresses for puppets. So what we need to do here is to take our doily and to fold it in half, like so. Then you fold it in quarters, like so. Then you take a pair of scissors and you cut off the corner. You don't need a very big hole, you cut the corner off. Then you turn it around like this and pretend you're going to have a piece of cake, slice of cake right out of the middle. So we cut, in fact, a wedge. If you like cheese, you can have a cheese wedge. There we are. Then you pull out those little pieces, and we've got now a very simple little dress. And that's the way we make a dress for our little puppet. But what you can do is you can take your felt pens and you can colour it in and give it a lovely decorative look. Now we pop the dress up the spoon, and it's probably better to use glue, so put some glue underneath and glue it all up. I'll use some sticky tape for now because it's nice and quick. Pop that there, and here we are. We have our very simple Hungarian wooden spoon puppet. What might be a good idea is if your class made them and you could use them for a display. Really good for United Nations Day. You could dress them all in national costume. The other thing you can do with these is you can play some music and make them dance. You can animate them really quite well, and they look great when there's a lot of them. So there we are, that's a wooden spoon puppet. Now, in our mask making, I mentioned that you can use masks for lots of different things. And one thing you can use them for are for puppets. So I'd now like to show you a puppet using a mask. What I'm going to make is a scarf puppet. It's called a scarf puppet because it's really made out of scarves. Now I've got here two very simple little scarves. But if you wanted to, you could always use a tea towel. If you've got an old tea towel from home, a really old soft one that's been washed lots of times and it's soft, you can make the scarf puppet from that. What I've done is I've laid them out, and then I take a ball. This is a foam ball, but you could easily make one just from some screwed up newspaper. You put that ball in the middle of the material and about 1/3 of the way down. Then I fold the piece of material over it, like so, take a rubber band and I lift it up and I pop the rubber band underneath the head, being careful to keep it in the centre. If it does move, you can actually shift it. So let's just check now that that's in the middle. Yes, that's in the middle. So now we take another rubber band for each side and we twirl around the side here and we put the rubber band onto the side. That's going to make the arm, so we do one on each side. Now if you would like to, you can always just slide a little bead on it. That looks good too. So there we are, we've made our scarf puppet body. Now what we do here is we take, well I'm going to use a little stick, but if you wanted to use an old pencil, and you still need to have it a little bit longer, and you just pull your rubber band up just enough to be able to poke the stick into the foam. Now if you're using foam, it goes in easily. If you're using paper, it will go in, you just need to put some glue on it. And that's the control, that's what we're going to hold. And you operate the puppet by holding the control in one hand and the hands in the other. Now to give this a little bit of character, well, for a start, if you wanted to, you could draw a little face on it, or put some little eyes on. These ones are pins and paper. Pop them on there like that. Make them straight. It's a bit scary, isn't it? But what you can do, it's even more exciting, is put your mask that you've made onto it. So there we are, let's attach that on. Now you can either glue it on or you can use a pin. One advantage of using a pin is if you want to change masks, you get a new character made straight away. And you hold it at the back of the neck and you hold the hand and you work that puppet on your desktop and you'll find that that puppet's quite good fun to have. Well, there we are, that's a table puppet. Well, in our next video, we're going to make lots of different puppets from many different countries. So in the meantime, you have fun making masks. See you next time.